Blitz. Warner on the move, throws, and it's caught by Fitzgerald. Warner went down, and he's shaken up. Kurt Warner walked off the field, escorted off the field by the Cardinals training staff. I don't know. He took that blow on the blitz.
He drives him to the ground, and it might be the head hitting the turf right there. You talk to any quarterback, you ask them who hit them hardest in their career, they'll say the turf monster.
Yeah, that turf monster
Blitz.
reached up and bit Kurt Warner last Sunday, but he was able to practice this week. And will he play today as the Cardinals visit the Tennessee Titans? That's a major question. A lot of people are wondering for an update on his injury status for today's game. And all your other fantasy football advice, we turn to Jeff Cortini and Russ Bliss from fantasyfootballstarters.com. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in. Yes, so a lot of people are wondering, will he play?
That's a tough call right there, and we've been monitoring it real closely. Russ and I were talking about this earlier with all the concussions and all the concern around concussions. Last week there were some major concussions. Now this happens to Kurt Warner. Could be a game-time decision, and I think we got to watch it real close. So if you're setting fantasy rosters, Javier, and you know these next 2 weeks are critical, weeks 12 and 13 for getting in the playoffs, Warner's one of the guys that you may want to wait the last minute if you can. Another critical injury at the quarterback spot, Ben Roethlisberger, and he's actually been ruled out.
Yeah.
He practiced for 3 days, just like Warner did, Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday and Friday, had a little bit of a headache. They've ruled Roethlisberger out. And then Michael Turner, running back, high ankle sprain, looks like he's going to go. Early indications are for this morning, he's definitely going to go. Steven Jackson, another running back, as you well know, for the Rams. He's got back spasms. He's another game-time decision. So there's a lot of players right now on the update. Julius Jones.
Beat up, yeah.
Yeah, Julius Jones. We talked about him last week with the lung injury. He's still a game-time decision. Looks like Cedric Benson, the running back for Cincinnati Bengals, his hip, he's gonna go. Could be. That's what we're hearing early. And then Neil Rackers. We got to talk about Rackers. He's the Cardinal kicker. Only the Cardinals would care. He's got a groin, but these guys should. These three should go.
Definitely. Now, when you talk about those concussions and stuff, the NFL has really turned their focus onto those concussions, especially the reoccurring concussions.
Exactly, and that's a big focus right now. Roger Goodell, we've talked about it many times before. This is a real serious issue. There's been a lot of concern over the years of what post-concussion syndrome and things like that, so we're going to watch it close.
All right, Russ, we're getting toward that finish line where we're turning the corner toward the playoffs. What can we expect? What are some of the tough matches?
Well, there's 3 guys today that I'd be a little leery of starting, and the first one is quarterback Donovan McNabb of the Philadelphia Eagles. McNabb takes on the Washington Redskins, which is one of the best pass defenses in the NFL. The first time these two teams met, McNabb only had 156 yards and 1 touchdown. Now, McNabb's usually a very strong starting quarterback, but you might want to consider another option. Next one is running back Matt Forte of the Chicago Bears. Forte's had a down year. He's only got 516 rushing yards so far this year and only 3 touchdowns, way down from what the expectations were. And he faces a Vikings defense that, again, is one of the top 3 in the NFL.
Jared Allen.
They've only allowed 3 rushing touchdowns so far in 10 games. So.
Plus, Khalil Bell had a really good game last week.
Khalil Bell was activated from the practice squad, and he busted off that 68-yard run on his first carry in the NFL. And he looks like as though he may get a little extra time, but still, Forte is going to be the workhorse back, but he's not going to be somebody that you really want to start today unless you have to. And then finally, Terrell Owens of the Buffalo Bills.
We haven't heard a lot from him this year.
Of course not, because this was his first game where he had more than 3 receptions, his first game with over 100 yards receiving, and the first game since week 2 that he actually scored a touchdown. This past week was the anomaly with Terrell Owens. That's not what you can expect on a regular basis, even though he has a nice matchup against the Miami Dolphins.
And with T.O., you know, he just kept saying, I'm going to have a breakout game, and last week was that.
That was it.
Now it's a matter of sustaining it, and I don't think he will.
Yeah, no offense there with the Bills. All right. What about some other sleeper plays?
Yeah, we've got some sleepers. If you need to set your roster and you're looking for a quarterback, Matt Hasselbeck, we're predicting him to get 250 yards. He's going against the St. Louis Rams. He's got a good matchup right now. So he's a quarterback if you need one. If you're looking for a running back, it's a little tough. You got to go with Jamaal Charles. He's a running back that we're recommending. If you need a last-minute pickup, you maybe only get 40, 50 yards. They got a tough matchup against San Diego. But if you need to pick somebody up, he's a good play. And then also, if you need help at wide receiver, Malcolm Floyd. Wide receiver for San Diego Chargers. He's one of their #1 wide receivers, and he's on the waiver wire, maybe 40 or 50 yards, but if you need a pick, he's a good play.
All right, for the Cardinal fans out there, what does a matchup look like against the Titans? Because the Titans have looked good over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting, too, with the Titans. First of all, Kurt Warner, he hasn't faced the Titans since they when he went up against them in the Super Bowl, right?
Wow.
So it's going to be a tough matchup. And if you look at it, the Titans have a real tough run defense. So look at the passing game of the Cardinals to really make it happen. And it all starts with Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Bolden, as we both know. So those guys, look for those guys to have probably Fitzgerald maybe 90 yards and a touchdown, and Anquan Bolden maybe 75 yards and a touchdown. And then Kurt Warner, he makes it all happen. We're predicting him to throw for 3 touchdowns and 300 yards. If he makes that game, Javier, look for the Cardinals' 34-17 victory over the Titans. That's what we're predicting.
Now, if he doesn't, Leinart, you know, there's been a lot of criticism on Leinart recently.
Yes, there has. He's got a chance to get in there. Hasn't really shown that he's got a grasp of what's going on. I think the game is still a little too fast for him. What do you think, Russ?
Yeah, I think that, personally, Matt Leinart is one of these guys that needs to get the practice reps. He's been sitting on the sidelines watching Kurt Warner. Great place to learn from, but he needs to get the practice reps, and he didn't get any this week. If he's forced into the starting lineup today, it could be a long afternoon for the Cardinals.
But that might be a good thing, especially this late in the season, where they're placed in their division.
Yes.
That he needs his reps, and if you need him in the playoffs, if you need him to come in, he needs to get those reps now.
That's a good point. On the road, and especially on the road, facing a real tough Titan team. You know, Leinart has not shown that he can throw a lot, put a lot of zip on that ball. Those Cardinals have to go up and get it. So he's still got a lot to learn from Warner, but if he has to play, it'll be a good matchup for him.
And then lastly, let's talk about the D.
Well, the Cardinals' defense against the Tennessee Titans offense, the first thing you have to do is, since Vince Young took over, they're 4-0, Tennessee is. So you've got to contain Vince Young. He's only been sacked once in 4 games. That's an amazing stat. He's very elusive, big, strong, physical quarterback in the pocket, very fast. You got to contain him. Don't blitz him aggressively. Don't try and get him outside the pocket. You got to keep him in the pocket and make him beat you with his arm, because that's his most suspect ability right there. And also, you've got to make sure that you contain Chris Johnson, the running back. He leads the NFL in rushing yards so far. He's been outstanding this season. He's, I want to say that Chris Johnson is one of these running backs that you can't let him get into open space. Don't give him a hole. A lot of run blitzes to clog the running lane, so that way he's got nowhere to go with the football. You got to stop him at the line of scrimmage. Don't let him get past that.
Good defensive coordinator here.
Yeah.
Russ
not bad.
Russ,
we're seeing, you know, in case the defensive coordinator goes down, then
Russ,
you and Russ.
Got it, man.
What kind of giveaway do we have today?
We have our weekly giveaway. If anybody that goes to fantasyfootballstarters.com, register only, Javier, then email jeff@fantasyfootballstarters.com. I will upgrade them to our power package. It's a $9.95 value. It gives you personalized alerts, personalized power rankings. You can store up to 5 rosters. Use our trade analyzer, our lineup analyzer. Best value on the planet. I'll upgrade anybody that watches this segment.
I love that. I love that. Can't beat that with the baseball bat. Gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll see you next week, and we'll talk some more football.
Thank you.